This video is about Symphony No. 6, Matin, by Joseph Haydn. I will explain the most important things about the work and the composer. Joseph Haydn composed his Symphony No. 6 in D major, known as Matin, the morning, in 1761. It was one of the first symphonies he wrote for Prince Paul Anton Esterházy, shortly after he was hired as Vice-Kapellmeister at the court. The symphony is one of a cycle of 3 symphonies representing the times of day: Le Matin, No. 6, Le Midi, No. 7, and Le Soir, No. 8. These works show Haydn's early mastery of symphonic composition and his innovative use of the orchestra. Le Matin follows the 4-movement structure that became typical of classical symphonies. The first movement begins with a slow introduction, followed by an allegro in sonata form. The second movement is an adagio. The third movement is a minuet with trio. The fourth movement is a lively finale. Each movement has its own character, but together they form a musical depiction of the dawn. The subtitle, Le Matin, refers to the musical depiction of the dawn in the first movement. The slow introduction evokes the sunrise with a rising melody in the flute, accompanied by gentle string chords. This pictorial depiction then transitions into a lively allegro that symbolizes the activity of the beginning day. Haydn uses musical means to illustrate a natural phenomenon, a technique that he would later perfect in works such as The Creation. A special feature of Le Matin is the prominent role that Haydn assigns to various solo instruments. Almost every instrument in the orchestra is given solo passages, which was unusual for the time. Particularly striking are the solos for flute, oboe, bassoon, horn, violin, and cello. This treatment of the orchestra as an ensemble of soloists shows Haydn's innovative power and his desire to showcase the abilities of the musicians at the Esterházy court. Haydn demonstrates his mastery of orchestration in Le Matin. He uses a classical orchestra typical of the time, but uses the instruments in a creative way. The use of solo instruments creates a rich palette of timbres. Haydn skillfully alternates between 2D passages and chamber music-like sections. This varied orchestration contributes to the lively and pictorial nature of the symphony. Le Matin was one of the first works that Haydn composed for the Esterházy court, and it played an important role in his career. The innovative treatment of the orchestra and the programmatic nature of the work impressed the prince and solidified Haydn's position at the court. The symphony showed Haydn's ability to compose entertaining and technically demanding music that appealed to both musicians and audiences. Le Matin shows elements of the transition from Baroque to classical. The symphony still contains Baroque elements such as the concertant treatment of the solo instruments, but it already points to Haydn's classical style. The clear structure, balanced form and thematic development are characteristic of the emerging classical symphony. Haydn uses contrasting themes, dynamic changes, and varied textures to maintain musical interest. Le Matin was written at a time when the symphony as a genre was still in development. Haydn played a crucial role in establishing the classical symphony. The work also reflects the musical conditions at the Esterházy court, where Haydn had access to talented musicians and enjoyed the freedom to experiment with new musical ideas. The symphony marks the beginning of Haydn's long and productive career as the father of the symphony. Le Matin is regularly performed in concert today, often together with the other times of day symphonies. Modern interpretations vary in the size of the orchestra and in performance style. Some ensembles use period instruments to recreate the sound of Haydn's time. The symphony is often used in thematic concert programs to demonstrate Haydn's early style and his innovations in orchestration. It remains a fascinating work that provides insights into Haydn's early development as a symphonist.